today and giving us an update on what's coming for Fleet Week. As you know, the Portland Roast Festival and the Navy have been doing Fleet Week since 1907, and this year is no exception. So we have representatives from the various services, as I mentioned, that will talk about what's going on for the Roast Festival. We just hope the weather stays nice for that. And so at this time, I'd like to introduce Sean Whalen, Harbor Master for the Portland Fire Bureau, who will MC and introduce the various speakers from the agencies. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Sean Whalen, Harbor Master for Portland Fire and Rescue in the city of Portland. We've been working for several months getting everything ready for Fleet Week, and today and this week it's finally here. I'll introduce each of the agencies. They'll come up and spell their names for you, discuss what they have, and then as we get to the end, I'll be discussing bridge lifts and whatnot. But I do want to say right now, river conditions are great for what we need. River's been hovering right around 8 feet with just a small amount of tidal swing, which is perfect for getting the ships in and moored up and then allowing people on and off of them easily. And we don't have a lot of debris. The weather's been great. So it's perfect for us, and it makes my job a lot easier. So our first speaker is speak on behalf of the United States Navy is Rear Admiral Scott Gray. He's commander of the Navy Region Northwest.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rear Admiral Scott Gray, Commander Navy Region Northwest. It's SCOTTGRAY. As the Commander of Navy Region Northwest, it's my honor to participate this year in Portland Roast Festival and Fleet Week. Across Navy Region Northwest, we have nearly 200,000 active duty, retirees, civilian employees, and reservists who serve throughout an 11-state region, including Oregon. It's really a pleasure to be here. I can't tell you how the tremendous hospitality we've already seen yesterday and today. I've been walking around the city. I was in Astoria and here throughout the evening, and I can't tell you how many folks have stopped me and shook my hand, thanked me for my service, and it's really just been an honor to be here and to see the tremendous outpouring for your Navy. We're happy to be here this year. This is my first year, but as we said, we've been doing Portland Roast Fest for a long time, and we'll continue to do so. It's really an honor, the amount of hospitality we've seen, as I said, has just been great. You know, the world is really rapidly changing, and there are growing threats around the globe. The nature of the international environment has been changing, but your Navy is out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on every ocean, protecting the country, protecting the American people, and protecting an international order that has brought tremendous wealth and prosperity, not only to the United States, but to the world over the last 75 years. This week, our sailors will have a wonderful opportunity to enjoy Portland and to get out and about in the community. Portland will have a great chance to see your Navy, to see what we have to offer, to tour our Navy vessels, and more importantly, you'll have a wonderful opportunity to meet our outstanding men and women in uniform who serve this country, often at great sacrifice. Our service members today provide security, as I said, around the world on every ocean. I want to emphasize that our men and women in uniform are your sons and your daughters, are your husbands and your wives, are your neighbors, right? And we serve at great sacrifice, but we also serve not only the nation, but we serve our communities in many ways. So we look forward to this opportunity. I think you will see the wonderful people you have who are representing your nation around the globe, and doing so in a way that's, as mariners especially, I would say that, you know, we have a deep reverence and love of the sea and the maritime environment, and your Navy does their job and provides the security that you need in a way that's very respectful of the environment, and we go to great lengths to ensure that we take care of the natural environment. I want to encourage everyone to come out to see the ships and get to know our men and women in uniform and see what your Navy has to offer. I also want to say thank you to the City of Portland and the Rose Fest Committee. It takes a lot of hard work and effort to pull this thing off, right, successfully. And so thank you for that. They've obviously done a great job already because they've coordinated this wonderful weather for us. We'll have 2 Navy ships participating this week. One will be a guided missile destroyer, and the other will be a littoral combat ship. The ships will be arriving in Portland later this week, and we're planning to provide tours Friday through Sunday from 9:30 to 16:30 every day. I will say that the lines are generally long, so I'll encourage everybody to get there early. We will generally cut off the lines at about 15:30 to make sure everyone who's waited long all day or as long as they had to, that they get a chance to get on board. We do not want to disappoint anybody. You can go to the Portland Rose Festival website or the Navy Region Northwest Facebook page, and they'll provide you more details there. We're excited to show off our ships. We also want to make sure that we do so in a safe manner. So please, anybody who comes to visit the ships and wants to take a tour should have a government-issued ID, and we're also asking everyone to wear closed-toed flat shoes as you traverse onto the ship and throughout the ship. It'll just be safer that way. Visitors will pass through airport-style security and go through screening before they are able to provide or we're able to tour the ship. And we're doing that just to make sure that we do so in a safe manner. Please, I'll ask everybody who wants to come not to bring any of the following prohibited items. No weapons of any kind, no defensive chemicals or sprays, no fireworks, flammable liquids, or any other type of explosive, no drugs or any paraphernalia by federal standards will be allowed. No backpacks or large bags, small purses, or camera bags will be okay, but they will be searched. No strollers. General photography will be allowed on the exterior of the ships. And also the port area, pier area where the ships will be a no drone zone, no flying of drones in the vicinity of our ships. Navy is very excited to be here to participate this year, and I want to thank again Rose Festival and the City of Portland for hosting us. We couldn't meet our mission without the tremendous support of our communities, and if what I've seen thus far is indicative of the people of Oregon, Portland, and Rose Fest, it'll be a great opportunity this week for our Navy sailors to get out and about and see the best of Portland. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing everyone throughout the week.
All right, thank you. And next up, from the U.S. Coast Guard, we have Petty Officer 3rd Class Trevor Lilburn.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Petty Officer 3rd Class Trevor Lilburn. That's TREVOR LILBURN. The Coast Guard is honored once again to be part of Portland Rose Festival Fleet Week. The Coast Guard is going to have 4 cutters out here, where the Coast Guard is a large part of the community. The Columbia River commerce depends on the Coast Guard's safety and security, and we're glad to be out here to participate with the community. We're very close to it. We're a part of it. We're here, and we're glad to be out interacting. There's 4 cutters that are going to be here. The Steadfast, the Bluebell, the Terrapin, and the Swordfish. These are all active-duty Coast Guard cutters. Some of them are just getting back from deployments. The Steadfast was just in the Eastern Pacific, conducting migrant and drug interdiction operations, international law enforcement. So they're glad to be back and be home and interacting with their families again before they go out, I'm sure. Let's see. The Coast Guard cutter Bluebell is a 100-foot inland buoy tender. They're one of only 2 active duty in the Coast Guard right now. It's a very cool old ship, and you should definitely see it. The crew's great. What else do I want to do? Terrapin. Coast Guard cutter Terrapin is a 110-foot patrol boat, home ported in Bellingham, Washington. They made the trip down today, and they'll be offering tours later. All four cutters will be holding tours from 9:30 to 4:30 on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We ask all community members to come out, would have their government-issued ID and closed-toed shoes, please. And security zone, we're going to come back to security zone. Yeah. Then that's all I have right now.
All right, thank you. So the next couple places or agencies come in don't have representatives, so I'm going to speak briefly about them. First, we have a training vessel, Ironwood. That's it's representing the seamanship and technical training at Tongue Point Job Corps in Astoria, Oregon. They develop 18 to 24-year-old men and women into credentialed merchant mariners for work in the maritime industry. And they've attended Fleet Week several different years. If you've been there before, you'll recognize the boat or the ship. The Ironwood's a decommissioned U.S. Coast Guard buoy tender. It was commissioned in 1943, and it was just decommissioned, I believe, around 2000. It was used for several missions in the Pacific during World War II. And that ship will be hosting tours similar to the same times as the Navy and Coast Guard boats. And then we have the Royal Canadian Navy's also coming. They're bringing 2 ships, the Nanaimo and the Edmonton. They're both Kingston-class coastal defense vessels for the Royal Canadian Navy. And again, they'll also be hosting tours, similar days, Thursday or Friday through Sunday. They are doing a reception, I believe it's on Saturday, and so there'll be times where those particular ships are closed, but the other ones will be open. And then, fireboat David Campbell. So for the year, that fireboat's from 1927. I don't know how long that particular fireboat has been escorting the Navy and the Canadians and the Coast Guard in, but again, if you've been here in the past, you've seen her. She escorts them in under the steel bridge and does colored water displays, typically red, white, and blue for the United States vessels, and often red and white for the Canadian vessels. And then, so she'll be out there. So now for the important part, all the traffic-related issues and the bridge lifts and whatnot. And it is in military time, so I'll convert it to standard time for everybody. And again, these are obviously estimates. Most of these ships are leaving Astoria roughly 7 to 9 hours earlier, and so they're not going to come in exactly when we expect. They might be a little early, they might be a little late. But basically on June 5th, Wednesday, you can expect Broadway bridge lifts, steel bridge lifts, and Burnside bridge lifts somewhere in the vicinity of prior to 4 p.m., but between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. We have there listed 3 to 4, but again, they might be a little late, they might be a little early, and you can see the ships coming in at that time. Then on Thursday, we have the Navy ships coming in as well as the Terrapin. So the Terrapin is a relatively short, so the Broadway bridge may not have to be lifted for the Terrapin, but it will be lifted for the Navy ships. And the Burnside Bridge, I put an asterisk there because if the river conditions stay how they are, the Burnside Bridge won't need to be lifted either. But again, it's up to the captain, and if the river rises much, they'll probably request a lift for the Burnside that day as well. Otherwise, it will just be the Broadway and Steel Bridge for the Navy ships, and times are similar, 3 to 4 p.m., possibly if they're a little early too. If they're a little late, it might disrupt traffic slightly more. So that's for the days they're coming, Wednesday, Thursday. Days of leaving. Sunday, there are a couple of the ships are leaving on Sunday. The Bluebell and the Ironwood, which could affect Broadway, Steel, and Burnside bridges, and again, it will depend a little bit on heights as to whether the Broadway needs to be lifted or not, but most likely the steel for sure and the burn side. And those will be morning times, and it is Sunday, so hopefully that'll be a little less traffic issues. And then Monday morning, the remaining ships are going to leave, and basically beginning as early as 7:45. You can expect bridge lifts beginning with the burn side, and then as they head out, the steel, and then Broadway. And hopefully they'll be done by 9 so we can get as little traffic problems as possible, but those are estimated times for now. And then moving on from there, we're going to ask the Coast Guard to come back up and discuss the recreational boating rules.
Okay. I forgot where we were. It's chow time. That's what that was? That's chow time? Yeah. So boaters and other users of the Willamette River should be aware that the Coast Guard will be maintaining a security zone on the Willamette River between the Steel and Hawthorne bridges from Wednesday the 5th until Monday the 10th. Transits through the zone will be restricted, and boaters should expect delays and/or inspections. You see the Steel Bridge, Hawthorne Bridge, so that area marked there. That's all I have.
Okay, so we have a slide from Multnomah County Sheriff. Essentially, they're obviously a huge partner with us, and they actually are escorting or helping to escort and provide a secure zone for the ships coming all the way up from Astoria beginning tomorrow and Thursday. And so we just put their slide up so they could be recognized as providing a lot of help with this process. And then after that, we have Roberta Allstat from TriMet to come up and speak about road conditions and basically just TriMet related issues.
Thanks, and it's Roberta Allstat, A-L-T-S-T-A-D-T. It's great to have the Rose Festival fleet in town, and TriMet is definitely an easy way to get down to the waterfront to see the ships up close. All our MAX lines and up to 20 bus lines do run into downtown. Folks can go to trimet.org and use our trip planner to easily plan a trip down to see the ships. Before we can all enjoy the ships, however, we have to go through the bridge lifts. When reporting on the bridge lifts, we would love it if you could remind your audiences that all MAX lines cross the steel bridge. So whenever that bridge goes up, those MAX trains will be holding, there will be delays and disruptions, and those will cascade throughout the MAX system. So really, it's just about planning ahead. 3 easy tips. Plan ahead, check out the news, see what's going on, see if the ships are pulling in or when they're expected to come in. Plan extra time. We encourage MAX riders to plan an extra 30 to 60 minutes during the arrivals and on Monday morning's departure day. Again, those delays experienced downtown will cascade throughout the system. Bus riders that ride on lines that go into downtown should plan an extra 30 minutes. Many bus lines will detour, so that leads us to tip number 3, check trimet.org/alerts before you head out. We'll have updates on the detoured bus lines. Any bus lines that go across the Broadway, Steel, and Burnside bridges may be detoured, and you'll get the latest information at trimet.org/alerts, as well as updates on MAX delays. TriMet's rider support team can help folks, whether they're planning a trip down to see the beautiful ships or they're just trying to travel around during the arrivals and departures. Our team is available 24/7. They can be reached by text at 503-238-7433 or on Twitter at TriMet Help. They can also be reached by phone at 503-238-RIDE, 7 days a week between 7:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m.
All right, and then last, representing PBOT, Portland Bureau of Transportation, is Dylan Rivera.
Good morning. I'm Dylan Rivera, D-Y-L-A-N Rivera, R-I-V-E-R-A, spokesman for the Portland Bureau of Transportation. The City of Portland and PBOT are thrilled to welcome the Navy, Coast Guard, and other military partners who are visiting Portland. 1907, the first Fleet Week, that's amazing. What a wonderful Portland tradition. And we're proud to partner and welcome these visitors to our community. And we hope everyone in Portland will join us in welcoming them this weekend. PBOT actually has been working on this for a number of weeks, planning for the arrival of these vessels. PBOT owns and operates the harbor wall along Tom McCall Waterfront Park, and so we've been working closely with the harbor master from Portland Fire and Rescue, with officials at the Rose Festival organization and Portland Parks and Recreation to make sure we have a safe and comfortable arrival for everyone. Many partners work together to make this a safe and fun, welcoming event every year, and we're proud to work with everyone and to share information about it. PBOT operates the gangways, and I think that some call them brows, and other platforms that help people get on and off the vessels, and so we're really happy to have a role in such a long-standing, beloved Portland tradition as the Rose Festival. Everyone should plan ahead for your trips if you're passing through the downtown area, anywhere in the vicinity of the Burnside, Steel, and Broadway bridges. Know that Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon, Monday morning are sort of the key times when we can expect some bridge lifts that can cause some delays. And then, of course, Sunday morning was mentioned as well for a brief period of some bridge lifts as well. So pay attention, plan ahead. We encourage everyone to bike or use public transit, but also planning ahead and also being strategic about your trip. If you do have a time-sensitive trip in these hours, think about some of the bridges that don't have lifts or are not involved in these lifts. For example, the Markham Bridge and the Fremont Bridge, the Morrison and Hawthorne bridges won't be affected, but Monday morning some of them may have some spillover traffic from some of these bridge lifts that are happening on Monday morning. So those are some of the things for everyone to know about. Also, Broadway Bridge lifts will impact Portland streetcar service, and so check Portland Streetcar's Twitter account for the latest information on that at PDX Streetcar. And at PBOT Info, we'll be sharing information as we get it about various traffic delays as well. And the Multnomah County has a Multnomah County Bridge information website and an app for public information. In addition, people biking to and from downtown should know that the Steel Bridge lower deck will have some impacts with lifts Wednesday and Thursday afternoon, and likely Monday morning as well for lifts for the arriving and departing vessels as well. So some temporary delays, a big show. Come see the ships, come see the celebration and take part in this wonderful Portland tradition, and just plan ahead if you do have a time-sensitive trip during these hours. And we're all so excited to have our visitors here again for Fleet Week, and join everyone, join us at PBOT and the city in celebrating the Rose Festival and enjoying Fleet Week. Thank you.
All right, so Scott, is there anything you want to say in closing? Okay, so that concludes all the different agencies coming up here to speak. As we promised at the beginning, individually we can ask or answer questions for the agencies that are willing and able to answer the questions they can. But that concludes this section of the media briefing.